The computer in Dallas labored 8 straight days on the Cowboys' opening offensive play of 1972, and then turned it over to the human. To prove if it was a machine or mortal error, Dallas tried it again. For the mighty Dallas Cowboys, nothing seemed to work on opening day. Rookie Robert Newhouse wove through the Eagles on an incredible journey to a touchdown. Then it was discovered he'd stepped out of bounds. Unfortunately for the Philadelphia Eagles, they were not ready to seize the situation on a day that saw Dallas ready to be beaten. With starting quarterback Pete Lisk idled by shoulder miseries, Philadelphia inserted their #1 draft pick, John Reeves. Reeves promptly delivered a 59-yard bomb to Harold Jackson. But Reeves' inexperience surfaced all too swiftly as wily Cornell Green snatched away a sure touchdown. From that point on, the Doomsday defense put a quick end to every Eagle trick. The Dallas offense regained the human touch as quarterback Craig Morton threw 2 touchdown passes. One was floated to Ron Sellers, who made a bobbling catch. The second was rifled to Lance Allworth as Dallas finally overcame their lethargy and defeated the eager Eagles 28-6.
For the second straight week, the Dallas Cowboys looked something much less than world champions. Yes, the Doomsday defense's complicated, coordinated pattern still squelched the run. And yes, the Giants' double wing gave Cowboy defensive ends easy routes to Norm Snead's body. Yes, the Cowboy offense was still complex, but it was creaky. Only clutch-catching Billy Parks, #21, and Lance Allworth, #19, both shuttled from San Diego to Dallas, showed any spark as Dallas dulled out a 23-14 victory. 2 explosions by Rich Houston livened up a dead day for the Giants. Once he turned a routine post pattern into a 55-yard touchdown. Then Houston climaxed the day by burning Dallas deep and flat out beating safety Cliff Harris to the end zone. But the 94-yard touchdown was little consolation to the Giants as Dallas won its second straight 23-14.
The Dallas Cowboys were looking for their 3rd straight victory against the Green Bay Packers, but their early show of muscle soon dissipated before a rash of brutal mistakes. There was veteran cornerback Herb Adderley, #26, feeling the fickle fingers of age. And there was punt returner Cliff Harris, who parlayed a fumble into a turnover. But mostly, the Cowboys fell victim to the swarming swirl of Packer gang tackling. Dallas quarterback Craig Morton often felt the might of the resurgent Packers. When Morton wasn't pressured, he fired aimless passes. This one was devoured by Al Matthews, #29. On offense, Green Bay was led by their star sophomore running back, John Brockington. Brockington's bullish runs netted him 81 yards rushing and a pretty touchdown that gave the Pack a 10-3 lead. The Cowboys rallied with the clutch catching and nifty running of wide receivers Lance Allworth, number 19, and Bob Hayes, number 22. The finishing touch was applied by Walt Garrison, who powered past Packer safety Jim Hill to a touchdown. But in the end, the world champions fell prey to their own errors. This interception by rookie Willie Buchanan, number 28, sealed the Cowboys' fate as Green Bay rode on the firm foot of Chester Marcole, whose 22-yard field goal gave the Packers a 16-13 victory. Without Roger Staubach, the Cowboys' offense has become a riderless horse. On Sunday, his team met the Steelers, led by Terry Bradshaw, whose fascination with collisions has given his face that rugged look. Against Dallas, Bradshaw faced a head-hunting defense. The Doomsday defense brutalized the Steelers in the first quarter, but whenever they seemed to have Pittsburgh in their fatal grasp, they let go too soon. On offense, the Cowboys displayed a case of dropsy that has lasted through 4 games. Quarterback Craig Morton was often backed by superb protection, but often his passes wobbled woefully off target. Finally, Cowboy mistakes provided Pittsburgh with a score when Bob Hayes' fumble was speared in midair by Mel Blount, who raced to a touchdown. With the Steelers leading 13-3, Dallas rallied with 2 touchdowns, one on a Calvin Hill dive, and led 17-13 late in the last quarter. With time waning, very strange things began to happen. Within fingertips of a touchdown, Frank Lewis dropped Bradshaw's perfect pass, and Steeler hopes seemed lost. But with 1:45 left, Bradshaw received a second chance, and even weirder things occurred. First, Bradshaw was blindsided, but Franco Harris recovered his fumble and sped to the Cowboy 3. Unfortunately for Pittsburgh, a holding penalty nullified the play and opened the way for more strange happenings. Just 3 plays later, on 4th down, Bradshaw's desperation pass was intercepted by Cornell Green. This time, a Dallas penalty canceled Green's trip to a touchdown. Bradshaw then drove Pittsburgh to the Dallas 33, and with just seconds remaining, he threw a prayer that Frank Lewis caught just out of bounds. In one of the strangest games ever played, the Dallas Cowboys lucked out a 17-13 victory over the snake-bitten Steelers.
Following in the familiar crab steps of their legend, the Baltimore Colts came out possessing a very unfamiliar losing record. Though 4 weeks had produced but one victory, the Colt linebackers remained an unmatched triumvirate. Ray May, number 56, still blew in hard and fast from the right side. And number 83, Ted Hendricks, still tried to turn setbacks into headless horsemen. In the middle, Mike Curtis still read and reacted to the quarterback's eyes. But while the defense clings fast to their legendary greatness, it is on offense where the legend has withered. John Unitas probes and picks like a master, but the Colts have lost the master's touch. For Dallas, the answer to Unitas was the doomsday defense, led by tackle Jethro Pugh, number 75. Whether it was sacking Unitas or tracking down the screen man, Pugh plastered every man wearing Baltimore blue. Through 5 weeks now, the staunch Dallas defense has allowed but 3 touchdowns, and it's been their excellence that has kept alive championship dreams. The conservative Cowboy offense was triggered by the quick bursts of Walt Garrison, number 32, and Calvin Hill, number 35. Hill scored the first 2 Dallas touchdowns, the second coming on a zone-splitting pass by quarterback Craig Morton. Only once did Baltimore penetrate the Dallas 20. But they were denied a score when Unitas illegally batted his fumble into the Cowboy end zone. Dallas won the argument and the game as Craig Morton capped the Cowboys' 4th victory in 5 games by finding Ronnie Sellers unattended in the end zone. For Dallas, their 21-0 victory was an easy stepping stone to their summit meeting this week with the Washington Redskins.
The next week in Washington, Tom Landry's Cowboys met the rival Redskins. Both teams have an abiding dislike for each other, but it was Dallas that gained the upper hand swiftly. Twice the Cowboys attained 13-point leads, but twice the resilient Redskins rallied on the hands and legs of Larry Brown, number 43. The 24-20 defeat brought the Cowboys' record to a disappointing 4-2. But the loss could not dim the glow of many bright young bodies who would be Cowboys starters in the future. First came the Detroit Lions on Monday night, and Craig Morton sprayed touchdowns all over Texas Stadium. It was a night for new faces as Billy Parks and Mike Montgomery, number 23, both obtained from the Chargers, bore out the wisdom of cowboy trades. Montgomery pranced for 2 touchdowns, and Dallas won, 28-24.
The most illustrious and notorious of the Dallas-San Diego alumni did not stand at the head of the class. Yes, that was the famous escape artist in high-top shoes, Dwayne Thomas, who spent his warm-up time either practicing a two-point stance or planning a new breakout. But it was not ex-Cowboy Thomas, but ex-Charger Mike Montgomery who upstaged the show by returning Leonard Dunlap's fumble 54 yards for a touchdown on the game's fourth play. From there, it was all downhill for the Chargers. Quarterback John Hadle spent the first half running for his life and lobbing misdirected passes. Leroy Jordan's interception set up a pretty counterplay touchdown by Walt Garrison, and Dallas led 17-0. Then Mike Montgomery, that old Charger ghost, rose up again and threw an option pass to Ron Sellers. On the next play, Craig Morton lofted an apparent touchdown to Sellers. Although a penalty denied the 6 points, Dallas later scored and then struck again, as Morton rolled left and sprinted to a touchdown that gave the Cowboys a 31-0 lead in the third period. With such a surprising pad, Bob Hayes decided to warm up those old Olympic legs that had been rooted to the Dallas bench for several weeks. John Hadle decided to have some fun too, so he arched a 46-yard touchdown to Chuck Dicus as the third quarter ended. Hadle's fun-loving ways next touched Gary Garrison, who made an almost impossible catch, and suddenly it was 31-14 Dallas. Minutes later, Hadle threw his third touchdown to uncovered Chuck Dicus. With the Chargers now trailing 34-21, they got the ball again, but the alumni hijinks became too much for Dwayne Thomas, so he left a bit early. What he missed was Hadle's fourth touchdown pass. With time running out, Hadle tossed up a rainbow that Dave Williams neatly caught up with. Given more time, there would be no telling what Hadle might have done, but Dallas won this class reunion 34-28.
Quarterback Tim Van Gelder bubbled with joy at not having to face the Doomsday defense. At the start of their game with St. Louis, the Dallas defense offered little evidence of their decline as they cut down the escape avenues of Cardinal Whippet Mel Gray. One member of Doomsday who hasn't slowed down is a cat-quick 33-year-old named Bob Lilly. Although Lilly's charge jammed Gary Quazzo's trigger finger, it did not impair the Cardinals' ability to penetrate the Cowboys' porous deep defense. Quazzo passed underneath the Cowboys' zone to #1 draft choice Bobby Moore. Then he bombed it long with a strike to wide-open Jackie Smith, number 81. Later, Quazzo deceived Doomsday with a fake reverse to Smith, and the misdirection froze Dallas long enough to open an alley for Johnny Rowland, number 23. The Cardinals scored 24 points in all, the last 7 coming on a short sweep by former Viking running back Leo Hayden. 24 points is usually enough for a victory celebration, but not for the Cardinals, who witnessed the grim evidence of Cowboy excellence. The Cardinals could pass, but they could not run. And led by quarterback Craig Morton, the Cowboys exploded for 33 points. Ron Sellers' touchdown revealed Dallas' quick striking capability. But the heart of their attack is running, and Walt Garrison, number 32, is their leader. Garrison is not flashy, but he never quits. And neither does his fire hydrant counterpart, Robert Newhouse, number 44. The stumpy Newhouse runs like a revolving door, always spinning, never offering the defense a solid shot. Fronting Cowboys setbacks is a young offensive line with even younger reserves like number 62, John Fitzgerald, who has mastered the techniques for a successful screen. Behind the immaculate protection of All-Pro guard John Nyland, number 76, Calvin Hill swept to an easy score. Although their secondary is much maligned, cornerback Charlie Waters is learning fast, and hidden behind a stunting rush, he soared past Bobby Moore and burst to a touchdown. Although Dallas' 33-24 victory was not glorious, it was impressive enough to stir the jawbones of Larry Wilson, the last remnant from greater Cardinal teams.
This avid and optimistic bird watcher was fired up and fueled for an Eagle victory. But on the first series, reality returned as Eagle quarterback Pete Lisk took a straight right by Chuck Howley and then was thudded down by Bob Lilly. Things got worse for Lisk when he improvised after a bad snap and triggered the long bomb. The bomb traveled approximately 3 yards. But Lisk's embarrassment proved minor compared to punter Bill Bradley's. When Bradley tried to salvage the play, he was battered for a safety, and the always prepared Fairweather faithful saluted his effort. But the Eagle defense came prepared, and linebacker John Bunning stole a Craig Morton pass and swivel hip for 45 yards. First-year quarterback John Reeves replaced Lisk and ad-libbed a certain loss into a big gainer with a pass to rookie running back Poe James. After 14 quarters of frustration, the Eagle offense finally ended the touchdown drought on a nifty run by Larry Watkins, number 34. Watkins' score not only gave the Eagles a 7-2 lead, but lulled the diehards into a false sense of hope. Hope that was shattered on a Morton screen to rookie tight end Gene Fugit from Amherst College. Then Craig Morton turned to Calvin Hill, whose roughhouse runs netted him 100 yards on the day. Dallas's first touchdown came when Walt Garrison, number 32, sifted out of the backfield, and Gene Fugit, number 84, neatly screened Nate Ramsey, the Eagles' sole defender. Leading 12-7, the Cowboys received a break when Calvin Hill's fumble fell into the waiting arms of guard John Nyland for a touchdown. Trailing 19-7, Reeves crumpled under the constant pressure of the Doomsday defense. Nine times the Cowboys sacked Eagle quarterbacks for nearly 80 yards in losses. Super Bill Bradley witnessed disaster twice as a second horrid snap sailed over his head, but he got his kicks anyway. Calvin Hill rounded out the rout of the Eagles with a picture-perfect sweep as Dallas triumphed over the hapless Eagles 28-7. The Cowboy-Cardinal game was not exactly a barn burner, so disgruntled St. Louis fans came up with an apt caption. For substitute Cardinal quarterback Jim Hart, the only bright moment on a bleak day was this touchdown shot to tight end Jackie Smith. Quarterback Roger Staubach made a late appearance for Dallas, and so did Bob Hayes. While Hayes could not muster the old touchdown touch, Staubach worked some kinks out of his old rusty sea legs and looked like the Dodger of old. On defense, Dallas was devastating, as old pros like middle linebacker Leroy Jordan, number 55, hogtied the Big Red running game. After a 7-game absence, defensive end Larry Cole returned, and his jarring tackle on Leo Hayden caused one of 7 St. Louis fumbles. The Cardinal defense produced its share of blunders, such as Larry Wilson's blatant early hit on Ron Sellers, number 88. While quarterback Craig Morton does not possess the daring that Dallas fans love in Roger Staubach, he runs laterally very well. And unlike Staubach, he likes to go to the bench for the very next play. Usually, Craig Morton contented himself with handing off to Calvin Hill, whose barrel house runs accounted for 120 yards rushing. The Cowboys' first touchdown came on a pretty piece of running by Walt Garrison, number 32. On Garrison's second touchdown, he butted safety Roger Worley like a bumper car and then scored. Jim Hart continued to toss thunderbolts, but cornerback Charlie Waters, number 41, shadowed Bobby Moore and looked up at precisely the right moment. Turnovers led to all 3 Dallas touchdowns, which were all scored by the same man, versatile Walt Garrison. The Dallas Cowboys beat up on the Cardinals 27-6, and all a shell-shocked Jim Hart could do was mutter about a season that has been all too long for the Redbirds.
Week number 12 brought a rematch with St. Louis. Dallas was led by Calvin Hill, who homed in on his first 1,000-yard season. Behind the blocking of All-Pro John Nyland, number 76, Hill poured into the Cardinal Mixmaster 25 times. Behind All-Pro Rayfield Wright, Dave Manders, Ralph Neely, and Blaine Nye, Hill rushed 120 yards near those 1,000 yards. While Hill gained all the yards, Walt Garrison scored all the Cowboy touchdowns. Three times, Garrison butted and squirmed across the St. Louis goal, and Dallas won 27-6.
The festive atmosphere at Texas Stadium belied the fact that the Dallas Cowboys needed a victory over the NFC Eastern champion Redskins to ensure their spot as the wild card team in the playoffs. George Allen was resting Larry Brown for the playoffs, so right from the start, the Doomsday defense chewed up Redskin runners. Whenever number 74 Bob Lilly occupied two blockers, number 54 Chuck Howley burned into Billy Kilmer on blitzes. On offense, Dallas relied on Calvin Hill, who became the first Cowboy runner ever to rush for 1,000 yards in a season. Behind Blaine Nye's picture block on number 66 Myron Pontius, Hill turned the corner for an easy score. The Cowboys built a 14-0 lead when Craig Morton evaded the fierce Redskin rush and lobbed a touchdown to the wide-open Calvin Hill. Hill's touchdown is worth reviewing because on that play, he was covered by number 32 Jack Pardee. Seeing Morton rushed, Hill sped to an open area and his persistence was rewarded by 6 points. Hill's running mate, Walt Garrison, number 32, also gained over 100 yards, and this determined 41-yard burst was the longest of his distinguished career. On a quick opener, Garrison bolted 25 yards to a touchdown. That gave Dallas a quick 21-0 lead. Dallas built a 28-3 halftime bulge when Morton sent his line to the left and he rolled right. The sucker play completely fooled the befuddled Redskins, and Morton scored easily. In the second half, George Allen rekindled Redskin pride, and the over-the-hill gang responded like the team that has tasted defeat but only one time this year. Washington rolled on Billy Kilmer's right arm, and Jerry Smith's ability to beat Dallas short and deep coverage. Washington came at Dallas with number 28 Herbert Mulkey, a rookie who runs like Larry Brown. Billy Kilmer threw for 3 second-half touchdowns. The first one went to Charlie Taylor, who barely kept both feet in bounds. Kilmer's second touchdown resulted from a throw and go to Roy Jefferson, the Skins' other wide receiver. When Charlie Haraway picked off number 55 linebacker Leroy Jordan, Kilmer got his hat trick with a balloon to Charlie Taylor. The Redskins outscored Dallas 21-6 in the last two periods, but in the end, the Cowboys held on to win 34-24 and earned a spot in the NFC playoffs.
Sporting a 10-3 record, Dallas sought a playoff berth in a grudge match with the hated first-place Redskins. On defense, Chuck Howley came by air, while Leroy Jordan came by land. In the secondary, Mel Renfro glided in expert pursuit. Dallas was simply devastating and exacted a sweet measure of revenge on Washington. Calvin Hill gained his 1,000 yards and scored the first 2 Cowboy touchdowns. Hill's running mate, Walt Garrison, had his best day ever by rushing for 121 yards on just 10 carries. Dallas' last touchdown was scored by Craig Morton, who wanted 6 points so badly he ignored wide-open receivers. A victory with vengeance assured the Dallas Cowboys a playoff berth for the 7th straight year. At Candlestick Park, Dallas met the 49ers, a team they had defeated the last 2 years for the NFC Championship. But in regular season, San Francisco stunned them 31-10, and they maintained that momentum when Vic Washington returned the opening kickoff 97 yards. The 49ers built up an early 15-point lead until Craig Morton's touchdown pass to Lance Allworth cut the margin to 21-13 at the half. But in the dying moments of the third quarter, San Francisco built back those 15 points and led 28-13. Then Tom Landry made an agonizing decision. He replaced the luckless Morton with willing but rusty Roger Staubach. Since returning from his shoulder separation in the 5th week, Roger had done little but watch Morton guide Dallas into the playoffs. Staubach wanted to play badly, but he realized the masterful feats Morton had achieved in his absence. To the nub, the Cowboys trotted out their last hope. But Staubach sharpened that nub and revived the Cowboys' flagging hopes for victory. With 5 minutes gone in the last period, Staubach's generalship and Hill's 48-yard run set up a Tony Fritsch field goal that cut the lead to 28-16. With only 2 minutes left and the score still 28-16, Staubach drove Dallas to a touchdown with 2 perfect passes to Billy Parks. Now the score was 28-23, but with 80 seconds remaining, the Cowboys needed an onside kick. Tony Fritsch's behind-the-back kick bounced off Preston Riley and was covered by sure-handed Mel Renfro. With Dallas standing square on the 50-yard line, Tom Landry sent in a play which was translated by Staubach into a daring 21-yard scramble. The Cowboys had reached the 49er 29. 63 seconds remain. Both Staubach and Parks read the zone correctly, and Dallas was on the 10-yard line with 56 seconds left. After this amazing sequence of miracles, Roger reached back for one more and struck Ron Sellers dead in the hands with the winning touchdown. It was a glorious victory. Even the loss 1 week later in the NFC Championship could not dampen their achievements. Dallas had traveled further than many had expected. And next year, with a 40-man roster brimming with talent and experience, the Dallas Cowboys will be ready for a new season of challenge.